Hello and welcome to Coffee Tots at Home with me, Ann Tots. Today you have joined me for a play along with a story session, or you might know them as story sacks, and we have these available in Coffee Tots. Story sacks are really great because you often tell me in Coffee Tots that your children just don't like to sit still for stories, and it's something that you have to learn. But when you learn it, you do really enjoy it. But a really good way to get started with listening to stories is to play along with them. Now, not all children like storybooks, but this one is a fact book about racing cars. And if you're really into racing cars or dinosaurs or boats, whatever it might be, a fact book about them is a really great place to start. This one is by Osborne Books, and it's a board book, so it's really sturdy and great for little ones. It's also absolutely fantastic to get your race cars and use as a ramp. And you can look through a book like this, and you don't even have to read the story. You can ask them to point out things that they can see. Where are the wheels? What colour's the car? And whatever it is that you're learning with your child at that point, you can use the pictures as a jumping off point. But in the story sack for this book about racing cars, we have an assortment of different cars. Now, mine aren't particularly fancy race cars, but I'm sure if race cars are what your child is into, you will have some really cool ones at home. So I would set out the cars and I would have the book nearby, and I would say, oh, I've got this book all about race cars. I wonder what it's going to say. Ooh, a fan keeps the car's engine cool. Well, then you can have a little chat about where the engine is, and you can say to them, especially if they're very knowledgeable, can you tell me where the engine is? Even if you know, it's great. Kids love to teach you things. And then what's the next page? Oh, the next page is about where cars come from, and you can talk about countries. But this page after that is about a car that races over sand dunes, and this would be really appealing for me to get children involved in stories, because I would take the car and I would race it up the toy cupboard and down the art and craft shelf, and then I would use the book as a ramp. Whee! And off it rolls under the table, and you giggle and you laugh. That might be all for that day that you read about the story. But your child will remember how fun it is, and they will bring you the book. And then next time you can say, before we get to the place where we make a ramp for the cars and we drive them around, let's look at another page. And this one is a Formula One racing car, and you can maybe talk about the Formula One on the TV if you watch it, or talk about cars that go very fast and cars that go very slow, and you can line the cars up in a row, and then you can whoosh them off, and you can have a race and see which one goes the fastest. And another way you could play with the cars is you could line them up. Which one's the biggest? Which one's the smallest? You can have lots of conversations. Which one's got the biggest wheels? Which one makes a noise? Loads and loads of things. And you go from going through the book 1 or 2 pages to the point where your child waits for the page that they really like. And they will let you read the book. And eventually, if you leave the toys and the book in the same place, you might catch them playing themselves along with the story and looking at the pages. Or they might bring you the book to read, and you'll sit on the floor, read the book, and they'll play with the cars on the floor. But although they're playing, rest assured they're taking in the story. Now, I hope that's been really, really helpful about an introduction to reading. The book doesn't need to be story-based. It can be a factual book. It can be about something that they're interested in, even if you find it a bit strange. There are no rules for how to engage with reading. And a large part of reading books is about creating an imagination that's bursting with ideas of how to explore the world. Thanks for joining me today, and until next time, bye-bye!